Hey everybody, this is Jaden with Growth in Music, and welcome back to the channel. Recently, I had taken a poll here on my YouTube channel, and I basically asked what you guys wanted to see. I wanted to know what my subscribers wanted to see more of, and well over the majority of you guys, over 80% had voted for the second part of songs that you didn't know were covers. I had a blast making part one just about a week ago, and if you haven't seen that yet, I will link that up above. But today I have a brand new, fresh list of 5 more songs that I bet you didn't know were covers because I definitely didn't. Also, once again, due to copyright reasons, I will be including really small clips of music rather than long clips of music just to avoid some copyright issues. But again, thanks for watching the video, and I hope you guys like it. All right, the very first song on today's list of songs that you didn't know were actually covers is the song Twist and Shout. And this song was definitely most made famous by the band The Beatles. But 2 years before the Beatles recorded their version and released it, it was actually written back in 1961 and first recorded by the group The Top Notes. Now, after doing a bit of digging, I was able to find really one good solid piece of footage from the original recording back in 1961 by the Top Notes, which kind of got me thinking that when it was first recorded, it wasn't really professionally recorded. It sounded really raw and really bare. And then obviously it was more so professionally recorded and cleaned up by the Beatles, and they obviously made it an iconic song of theirs. But I was just kind of thinking that it was never really professionally put out there in the first place. But like I had mentioned earlier, the Beatles went ahead and recorded their cover version just 2 years later, and their version actually was able to climb the charts to number 2 on the Billboard Top 100 that year. And again, I had no idea until just recently that this song was actually a cover of an original version not by the Beatles. Okay, up next for spot number 2 on today's list is the song Tainted Love. And this one really caught me by surprise because it's such a catchy song, and when you hear it just start up, it's got such an 80s flair and an energy to it. But instead of it being, like I had thought, written originally in the 80s, it was actually first recorded in 1964 by Gloria Jones. Now, the original version, which was recorded 20 years before the band Soft Cell in the 80s went ahead and made their version of the song, just had a specific sound for that decade. And it was still upbeat, it's still catchy, and it works. But there's just something about the cover where it's just got its own flair to it. It's even more upbeat, it's so catchy. And even just going from decade to decade, even though all of the lyrics are same and there's a lot of similarities, there's just a way different vibe from one to the other. So go ahead and take a listen. Sometimes I feel I've got to run away. All right, really quick, you guys, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, just consider subscribing since it helps support us directly here at Growth in Music. And I'll be coming out with content every single week, even sometimes twice a week here on the channel. And you definitely don't want to miss that since the analytics are showing that about 90% or so of you guys aren't yet subscribed, but still like to view the content. So again, if you want to support us here directly, subscribing is the best way to do that. All right, up next at spot number 3 is a total classic country hit, and it's the song My Maria. And Brooks and Dunn went ahead in 1996 and recorded it, released it, and made it their own. And it actually went ahead and ranked number 1 that year on the US country charts. They went ahead and covered this song nearly 25 years after the original was first recorded, back in 1973 by B.W. Stevenson. Now, one thing that I noticed right away is how similar both songs are. Now, again, they are 25 years apart, and that can play a big role, especially in some of these examples where if you listen to a song from maybe the 70s compared to the 90s, it can sound very different from decade to decade to decade. But this one really caught me by surprise because both the vocals from the 1973 version and Brooks and Dunn's 1996 version sounded really, really similar. And you can just tell they knew that. You know, it was going to fit their voice well and the fans were going to love it, which they did. And even everything from the instruments to the harmonies and the backing vocals, everything sounds really, really similar and identical. Take a listen. All right, we got 2 more songs up next on today's video. I am going to come out with the final or the finale, part 3, in the next week or 2 most likely, so stay tuned for that. But up next at spot number 4, we've got the song Alone. Now, growing up, I was a huge metalhead, and it wasn't until I was able to watch my uncle perform with his Heart tribute band, Heartless, back in Minneapolis years ago. I was probably maybe 16 or 17 around there at the time, and I became a really big fan of the band Heart. And recently, we actually did a collab video together where we kind of just talked about and put out there who we thought were some of the most underrated guitarists of all time. And I will link that up above. It's actually a really fun video and a fun one to make. And Nancy Wilson of Heart was one of my picks. So this one kind of works hand in hand with that video. But the song alone was first recorded by the band I-10 back in 1983. And then fast forward 4 years, the band Heart went ahead and made their version of the song. Now, since I was so used to hearing the band Heart's version of the song, when I first heard the original by the band I-10, it really took my ears some time to adjust, since both the original and the cover both started off with the iconic, cool, piano part. When the vocals kicked in and it was a male singer, it really threw off my ears for a while. Now, like I had mentioned in the previous example, some of these songs in part 1 and part 2 of this mini video series, the original and the covers are very similar, almost identical. But in this version, Heart's version, they actually changed the lyrics really subtly, in the chorus actually. So if you listen really carefully, I would highly recommend, if you can, to listen to both versions, just one after the other, and catch some differences. They do make a few subtle changes to the lyrics in the chorus, as well as rewrite the solo. The I-10 version also has an electric guitar solo, it's great, but the band Heart, they obviously changed a lot about this song, made it their own, which is great, it's respectable, but it is really strange to hear it in its original form of what it first was. Alright, our final song on today's list of songs that you didn't know were actually covers is the song Piece of My Heart. And this song was definitely made most famous by Janis Joplin, and it's one of her biggest hits of all time. But she actually covered the song. The song was actually first originally written or recorded back in 1967 by Irma Franklin. And I didn't put two and two together, but she's actually the older sister of Aretha Franklin. Now, Janis Joplin went ahead and recorded her version of the song in 1968, just about a year later. And I had mentioned in the previous video, part 1 of this mini-series, that I thought it was a bit strange to cover a song that was first recorded and released about a year later. Or a year earlier, I should say. I always just kind of thought that was a bit strange. Again, I can see why somebody might want to pay homage to a song maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 years later. But let me know what you guys think. I just kind of thought that was a bit strange. Now, if you listen carefully to the original version and then followed up with the cover version, there's a lot of similarities. But one thing is really clear and really certain, and that's that you have to have a certain energy to perform this song. Both voices are just full of energy and powerhouses. And it's really what makes this song nice and strong and powerful, whether it's the original or the cover version. Alright, I hope you guys liked this video today. Again, I will be coming out in the near future with a part 3, so stay tuned for that. But once again, if you guys would like to support the channel directly, just simply subscribing is a great way to do that. I'll be coming out with content every single week just like this. And again, if you had fun today, if you have anything that you want to go ahead and comment on, make sure to leave a comment for me. I'd love to read it and reply back to you. And I will see you guys next time.